Hey guys, how's it going? Let me set up this room real quick. I got the wrong date set up right now. I gotta fix this real quick, and then we can get started. So let me just finish setting up this room, and then we can get started. I think I have it set to like March. It was like last week's session. So let me just get everything set up here. Once everything's set up, we can get started with our. Man, today's an off day for me. I'm like doing everything wrong right now. Let me just fix everything real quick, and then we should be good to go. So let me just get these settings set up over here. Turn the live chat. Here we go. April 4th. All right, cool. So I'm gonna let that set up real quick. Once it's done setting up, I'll send out the links and then we can get started. So I'm currently in this buy right here for US 30. I took Josh's 3-minute strategy right there. So it's currently running right now. There's also another entry that appeared right here. So I'm not sure if anyone took this one over here, but I'm currently in the prior one over here still. So let me see, I got that set up there. Let me just get this set up over here as well. And then we should be good to go. All right, while everything sets up, give it some time to load. All right, cool. Everything looks pretty solid. Let me get this link sent out to you guys real quick. That real quick. And this as well. So over to you guys over here. And then all right, a few other places I got to send this to, and then we should be good to go. So I just got to send this to our social media real quick. Sent out right there. I think that's good. Let me send this over to our social media, and then we should be good to go. One last place, Facebook. Post it on the Instagram. We should be good to go. So let's see. Let's screenshot this. All right, got this web link posted. Got a little swipe up button going right there. All right, cool. I think we're good to go. So I got that all set up right there. Social media is all set up. All right, cool. So it looks like we're good to go, guys. Let me just pull up the chat real quick, and then let's see who's in here. So let's see, it's 7:53 right now. Market's still kind of slow, guys. So it is Easter. So happy Easter to you guys who do celebrate Easter. Market's going to be slow today and tomorrow because the U.S. market is closed today. I'm not sure if it's open tomorrow, but even if it is, it's probably going to be slow because a lot of people are taking, an extended holiday for this holiday weekend. So let's get this pulled up right here on the YouTube. Should be good to go. Mute that. Let me get the Zoom link for you guys here in the premium. That invite link out to you guys right now. Move this over. Oops, let's close that. All right, let me get you guys a Zoom link real quick. All right, cool. Looks like we're good. Oops. you guys right there. All right, solid. Looks like we're good, guys. So I think everything's all set up. Like I was mentioning earlier, I'm currently in this buy right here for US 30. I currently entered this one over here. So I'm not in this one, this new one, but I'm in this entry over here from this one. I'm still currently running it. It's currently in profit, just running up, but I'm just going to let that run and I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not really going to touch my trades as much anymore, guys, because I noticed that I've been closing trades out a little too early and I've been giving away a lot of profits, just closing them a little too early. So what I'm doing now is I'm probably just going to let my trades, set and forget them and just let them run to where they're supposed to go instead of, closing them out halfway through. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing for the most part. So let me check the chat real quick. Let's see who's here. Hey, morning, Neptune. Morning, Steven. Yeah, I got the Zoom link to you guys. So you're good, Neptune. Morning, Sam. Or not morning. Good afternoon, Sam. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Mark. Hey, Lloyd. Hey, Celine. Everybody. So yeah, happy Easter, all you guys who are celebrating Easter. Like I mentioned, this week's probably going to be, well, not the week, but today's going to be kind of slow. Tomorrow's going to be kind of slow too because of people celebrating the weekend. So we're probably not going to have too many entries. We'll have some scalp entries, but all the bigger entries like intraday trades, we're probably not going to see too many of them because of the low volatility. So I was looking at the Forex pairs over here. I didn't really see too much movement. So even looking here at GN, it is a Aussie session right now. So you'd expect this to actually be moving, right? It's not really moving much. You can see here, it's only moved like, let's see, for this current candle, it's only moved like 16 pips. Generally for GN, it moves about like 60 pips and up per candle, right? So as you guys can see here, obviously it's really, really slow. Reason for that's because of the holiday today. So other than that, let me see. Steven, you got like Steven, they'll be scalping every day. Like there's people that are already scalping today. Just because it's Sunday and just because it's Monday doesn't mean there's not going to be scalps. So if you're following the chat, Steven, which I know you are, because I see you in the chat here, you can see people here are locking in profits today. Today's Sunday, people are still trading. Uncle over here locked in about 398 on his account. Let's see who else made some profit today so far. Marcus over here made 77 on his account. Let's see who else made profits. Suk made about 1,035. Who else here? Mark made about 1,019. So obviously people are still making profit. It doesn't matter if like volatility is like too low or not. It just depends if you want to take it or not, these trades, because you're not required to trade on Sunday or Monday, but if you want to trade, I mean, it's available to you, right? So Steven, I'm not going to necessarily give you the parameters if I'm not taking the trade. If I'm taking the trade, I'll give you the parameters. But, we had the same conversation last week. You just got to, if you want to apply the strategy yourself, like everyone else here, like I didn't call any of these trades here. So if you want to apply the strategy and make these profits here, Steven, you got to learn the strategy. You can't be lazy, bro. You have to actually do some work. You can't just expect your account to grow just by copying every single trade I give you, right? Because I'm not going to give you trades 24 hours a day. Like if you want any of these trades here that they took, like for example, Uncle over here, he took, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He took 9 trades right there, right? He made his own profit. I didn't call any of those trades. And same with, Marcus over here. He took 3 trades here or 2 trades. He made all that profit on his own. Same with Suk. I didn't call none of these trades here, Steven. So if you want to make profits, you gotta actually do some work, Steven. You can't just be waiting on me to call trades, because I'm not going to call trades all day, right? It's possible, right? Everyone here is making profit on their own. Like, Mark over here, Josh over here made 1, 2, 3, 4 trades on his own. And that's pretty much, everything here that's taken. I can't give you these parameters now, Steven, because it's too late. We're already in this trade. Like you're going to be entering this trade like 2 hours late, right? So I'm not going to give these parameters here because I already know how you trade, bro. You're going to enter it and not even think about it. And then you're going to lose a trade and be wondering, why did you lose a trade? And the reason for that is because you're entering hours later, right? This trade happened over here. You're trying to enter more than an hour late. So Steve, you got to understand that, you're not supposed to enter trades late. There's a reason why we have an entry point. I already know if I give you the parameters now, there's the parameters if you want them, Steven. But if you lose this trade, remember that this is your responsibility, because I told you not to take this trade, but you really want to take it. So if you want to take it, here's the entry point, 33,371. Profit's going to be profit target's going to be 33,396, and the stop loss is going to be 33,321. So this is your responsibility, Steven. If you lose this trade, then you already understood what was going to happen. But Steven, like, going back to what I said before, you can't be lazy, bro. You have to learn the strategy if you want to actually take these trades. So other than that, that's it for now. And just a reminder for you guys that are brand new here, today's just going to be it's not going to be a really busy trading day because it is Sunday. The market's still slow. This is mostly going to be me marking up the Forex pairs over here to mark up these zones for this week so that we have our chart set up for the trading week. And also some scalps if I do see them. But other than that, today's going to be it's going to be more of like a Q&A day. So if you guys have questions, this is probably your best day to ask me questions for me to answer questions for you. Because once the week starts, we're probably going to be just focused on taking actual trades rather than answering questions. Let me check the news real quick to see if there's anything coming up this week. Let's see. So this is actually looks like it's going to be a pretty slow week because there is no news. I mean, there's news on Wednesday. It's FOMC. So there'll probably be high volatility on this day on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, Federal Powell is going to be speaking at 9 a.m. So other than that, it's going to be kind of slow from Sunday, which is today. There's no news today, so slow on Sunday. Monday's probably going to be slow as well because the holiday today. And other than that, Tuesday is going to be slow as well. No news. So the thing with the news is we don't necessarily not want news because when news happens, that's when it pushes volatility in the market. So it's it's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it can push price in our direction. It's a bad thing because it can cause a lot of crazy movement in the market. But it looks like a pretty solid week so far. Other than that, I don't really see much here for CNBC for anything really happening. Let me see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I don't really see much this morning, guys, or today in general. There just is a couple of things regarding, Biden's his plan for the infrastructure. They're just going over that stuff. But other than that, I don't really see too much going on today affecting the market or even this week. There's not really much planned. But don't think that nothing's going to happen because literally anything could happen at any moment. So other than that, guys, let me just go back to what I was looking at earlier over here. Yeah, Dennis said, yeah, at your own risk. Hey, Gallo, how's it going, bro? Welcome. Nice. So you said team day. Hi, team day one. Yeah, Gallo, welcome to K2, bro. I know you just signed up like on Friday, right? Or on Thursday. So welcome to the team, dude. Hopefully we have a great week to kick off your first week with K2. We should. It looks like everyone's been doing pretty good. So I saved everyone's profits today so far. Like I mentioned, Uncle made 300 for today so far. It's only Sunday. Marcus made 77. Sisu made 1,035. Mark made 1,019. Mark made another 530 on his other account. And Josh made about 311. So pretty good profit so far today. So like to kick off the trading week, I'm currently in this trade right here. This first one, I'll just delete this right here. So I'm currently in this trade right here. There's another trade that's active right here, but it's not really in profit right now. It's currently in some drawdown. So I'm currently just waiting for this to hit. I have this set up for my TP. I'm just going to set an alert there so that it can let me know. Let's see. This is going to be US 30. Josh, 3-minute full TP. I'll just have that set up there as I look over the other pairs. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and then I can answer any question that you guys have. Otherwise, we're pretty much just going to be going over the zones for today. So I'm going to start off with that right now since we have no questions right now. Uncle said, hello, K2 family. It's very hot here. Yeah, it's hot here in California too, Uncle. I'm not sure where you're located, but it was pretty hot today. It's starting to feel like summer. So, all right, let's kick this off, guys. First off, I'm going to go down these Forex pairs. So basically for this session, this is just the weekly chart analysis. This isn't necessarily the live trading room like we have during the week because the market is just too slow. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down this watch list right here. I'm going to go ahead and clear up all of these zones, and I'm going to redraw all the zones for every pair here, basically. And if the zones haven't changed very much since last Friday, I'm just going to make some adjustments to what we have on the chart. So I'll start off with odd CAD right here, and then you guys will see my process in marking up the zones and identifying, market structure. So basically the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything off the chart, and I'm going to turn on the K2 SR indicator. So right here's the K2SR zones. Basically, these zones right here identify all the rejection points on like pretty much on the chart that have rejected at least 2 or 3 times in the past. So for example, right here, we have one zone up here. We have a couple more zones down here. Sorry guys, I'm gonna close my window. Someone's fucking fire alarm is going off and it's irritating. All right, we're good. I don't know if you guys heard that fire alarm, but it was bothering me. It kept ringing outside. Jeez, now the fucking dogs are barking. Jeez. All right, so let me draw these zones real quick for AutoCAD. So this is basically the first thing I do. First thing I do is I identify market structure. By doing that, I turn on the K2SR indicator, and then I mark up my zones. And then once I have this drawn up, I'll show you guys how I identify market structure. So first off, I'm just going to draw these zones here. And once I have these zones drawn up, I'm just going to go ahead and turn off the indicator. All right. So right there, once I have those zones drawn up, I turn off the indicator right here. I zoom out, and then you can identify, I mean, yeah, you guys can see, obviously there's, it's easy to see this market structure here. So once I have this drawn up, basically all I do is, so I'm gonna ignore all this area here because this area is kind of relevant. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start from up here. So basically you can see from this point, price broke into this structure right here. And then it broke back down from right here, right? So with that said, you can see that this was current market structure for that specific time, right? Because price broke into the structure, came up, tested the structure, failed to break above it, then it came back down. Once it came back down, it created a new market structure right here. So as you guys can see, if you guys have the K2SR indicator, it's going to be easy for you guys to identify where price is going. So for example, right here, we have price within this area, price breaks into the structure right here. Comes up for a test up here for a double top, so, or a triple top actually, right there. 1, 2, 3. It fails to break structure, then it comes back down, right? It breaks into this structure right here, and this becomes new market structure. So as you guys can see, if you guys draw the zones, it helps you tremendously when identifying, where price is going. So like right here, here's new market structure, right? So like, for example, price was up here, price broke below here. If I take off all these zones right here, you can see where all the noise is, right? What's important is just this area right here, because you can see price breaks the structure, comes down, tests this structure, comes back up, rejects off this point, and then comes all the way back down. Same situation over here. So for example, price broke into the structure right here. You can delete this area right here, and you can see this is what's important, right? Price breaks out of the structure, it comes down in here. It rejects off this point, bounces up here, rejects off this point, then it comes back down. And with that said, that's how you identify market structure. So going back to what I was saying over here, this is all kind of relevant because this isn't where price currently is right now. What's important is going to be this area down here, because as you can see, price broke into this area. And from this point, price is just bouncing. It's been bouncing between this area right here. So we actually have another area down here. And this is what's important, because if you go ahead and delete this right here and delete this, you can see what's important is going to be this area up here and this area down here, because if price breaks above here, it's probably going to continue up. Vice versa, if price breaks below here, it's probably going to continue down in this direction, right? So I'm just going to put those zones back over here real quick, and then I will show you guys, what's important here. So what's important here is if price ends up, sorry, let me delete that. If price ends up breaking above here, or not there, right there actually. If price ends up breaking above there or breaking below here, this is what's important, because if you guys can see from here, if price is to finally go above here and break above here, what's probably going to happen if price breaks into this new structure? If that happens, this is going to be brand new market structure, right? We can draw a line there, because once price breaks above here, it's probably going to continue up higher and higher to here. Right? So that's one scenario. Scenario number 2 is if price ends up coming down here. Let me delete this. So if price ends up coming below here, then you can expect price to come down even further from this point. So this is why we draw market structure first. This is going to be the most important thing, is always to identify market structure so that you can identify what your bias is. Because a lot of people trade and they never have a bias, right? They don't know what direction to trade. They just see something. They're like, oh, it's going up. I should probably enter a buy right here, right? But that's the wrong way of thinking. Because if you think that way, you know, price can easily come back down at any point. So for example, if you enter a buy right here and your stop loss is somewhere around here, like just using this for example, price can easily just come up and then or say, for example, your target's up here, price can come up. Sorry, I'm trying to grab this thing right here. Yeah, price can come up right here. It could hit this point and then come right back down before it hits your target, right? So that's why it's important that you guys draw market structure to identify where price is going and where it currently is. So looking at this here, I'll show you how I would analyze this from this perspective. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the K2 momentum indicator to identify our bias. So for example, right here, we have a buy entry, right? Or a buy signal. So with that said, we have a rejection from this point. We have a buy signal right here. So what I anticipate happening is I anticipate price to push up from this point and test this structure. That's why this area is going to be important, because if price breaks this point right here, then it's probably going to continue up even further. Vice versa, if price can do that, or it can reject off here and come back down. So if you were to enter this trade right here, which I mean, technically you still can, you could have entered a buy position there, have your TP slightly below that area so that it can cover your spread. And then I would probably have an equal distance, or I'd probably have this like below this structure down here maybe. So with that said right there, you can probably hit your TP, and then it'll hit your TP before it reaches this area where it can either reject off it or continue pushing up. So this is pretty much my analysis for OddCAD. So if you guys have anything you guys want me to analyze, just put your pair in the YouTube chat, and then I can analyze anything for you guys. Otherwise, I will be going through the rest of these Forex pairs over here, and I'm just going to draw my zones up so that we can identify market structure for the upcoming week. Because like I mentioned, there's not too much volatility in the market, so there's not going to be much for us to enter right now. But, you know, trades can set up probably tomorrow or the day after. Like, for example, here, let me just mark up where tomorrow is. So tomorrow is going to be over here. Like today's the 4th, the 5th. Okay. So this will be, or it's going to be midnight. Let's go to Tuesday, actually. So for example, right here, price might not reach this area today, but you know, by tomorrow it can break above here, and then at that point we can probably take a buy entry and then write it up further. Vice versa, price can come down here by, you know, Tuesday, and then at that point we can enter a sell signal, like a sell entry right here. So there's different scenarios that can play out, but you know, obviously you want to see how the market's moving before you enter these trades, because you don't want to enter too early and then end up on the wrong side of the market. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for that right there. I'm going to go down the list, and I'm just going to go down these pretty quickly. I'm not going to waste too much time on them because I know you guys probably don't care about these as much. But if you guys do have questions, just put them in the YouTube chat and I can answer them for you. So, all right, let me go through here real quick. Gallo's asking, how do I upgrade my plan? Use a link that I sent you, Gallo. That's how you upgrade it. So I already sent you everything in the, so I already sent you the link on Telegram. So all you got to do is click on that link and sign up there to upgrade it. All right. Other than that, let me go down these pairs really quick. So for example, here, a lot of these haven't really moved much, right? So as you guys can see right here, if I just hide this right here, you can see that a lot of these zones haven't really changed very much. They're still the same zone. So I'm not going to go and make any changes because there's no point. There's a small change right here. You can see the zone kind of branched out a little bit down here. So with that said, we have an extra zone right there. But other than that, everything looks pretty much fine. Let's move over to the next one. Delete this right here. All right, looks like this zone right here deleted. So I'm going to take that off. I'm going to draw a rectangle right here. Yeah, that's pretty much it for OddJPY. And I'll go back and look for some trades if there's anything that's available. But I think right now, for the most part, we're just going to be looking up these zones because market just hasn't really moved much just yet. Delete this right here. And here's an example of what I mean about market structure being important, right? So like, for example, here, if you were to draw this market structure here, I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to turn on the momentum indicator. All right, so if I just back up to here, This is why it's important that you guys draw market structure, because if you guys have this drawn up right here already, you guys can see that we have, like if you were to see the sell signal right here, you could take a sell entry at that point. So for example, if you have a rejection from this point, you have price breaking close past structure right here, then you get a sell signal right here. With that said, you can enter a sell position right here using the K2SR strategy and writing it down to this structure below here, right? So with that said, TP stop loss is going to be about 50 pips. And with that said right there, you just let it run. And what do you know, full TP, right? With like little to no drawdown. So this is why it's important that you guys draw market structure. Again, right here, for example, if you were to catch this over here. So for example, right here, we have a rejection from this point. Buy signal right here. If price breaks and close past the structure, you can take a buy right there. And you'd probably write it to this next zone right here, right? You hit full TP for about 20 pips. And then again, right here, once price breaks and close past structure again at this point, you enter another long position right here. And then you pretty much aim for the next target above there. We'll probably round that off to like 500 or 50 pips. And with that said, if you took that trade there, another full TP, right? So that's why market structure is really important. If you guys can identify market structure and then you can identify momentum using the K2 indicators, that's pretty much, this is the strategy we use for all of our Forex trades. So if you guys want to learn this, it's available to you. Just go on the website, k2trades.com, and then sign up for the K2 strategy course right here. And that's how you'll get access to the K2 indicators and access to all the strategies so that you guys can apply this here. And this is just me reinforcing, you know, why it's important to draw market structure, because once you have market structure, I mean, your opportunity is pretty endless. Like if you can combine it with something else, there's a lot of different tools that we use here at K2. We use the K2SR to identify market structure. We use the K2 momentum indicator to identify our bias. And on top of that, sometimes some people use the K2 pivots indicator to identify how strong momentum is, right? So like, for example, here, if they saw a buy entry right here and, you know, prices above the pivots, this would indicate that momentum up is like very strong, right? So with that said, you can enter like a long position right there and combine different strategies. So if you were to do that, and then you try to shoot for the next zone right there for about 20 pips or so, you let it run full TP right there, right? So there's different strategies that you guys can apply here using the K2 indicators. As you guys can see, if you guys are brand new to K2, you guys are probably not familiar with everything that we apply here. But a lot of these strategies that are being applied are strategies that were created by other K2 members. Like for example, here, all of these wins here that people have made off US 30, like these scalps right here, the strategy that was used for these were strategies that they created themselves. Like Marcus, he uses a 1 to 8 strategy where he uses zones on the 8-minute on US 30. What he does is he basically draws zones on the 8-minute, and then here, I'll just show you guys what he does. So basically he goes on the 8-minute right here. He'll draw zones off this. All right, so he does this. He draws his zones here on the 8-minute, and then he goes on the 1-minute and he takes trades off there. So for example, he'll draw this stuff right here. He's basically applying the K2 snipe strategy. So he'll do that. And then what he'll do from that point is he'll go on the 1-minute, and then he'll catch these little rejections. So what he'll do is he'll catch price when it rejects off it. So let's see, the most recent trade he took was a buy right here. So if he was to see something like, there was like one trade that he probably would have saw, like something like this right here. He's using the K2 snipe strategy. For example, he goes on the 1-minute, he catches these rejections off here, and he takes like a buy off that. And then he hits TP right there. So that's what he does. That's one strategy that he does. Where he makes these profits. The strategies that everyone else is applying, Sisuk right here, this one, the same with Uncle over here, and the same with Josh. So Josh is the one that created this other strategy. He goes on the 3-minute, and what he does is, I'll just put the requirements here because a lot of people keep asking me about this. This is Josh's Josh K2 US 30 3-minute scalp. So for this, he just identifies a K2 momentum signal. And then 2A, he confirms K2 momentum signal is breaking and closing past K2 pivots 3 and 4. Or 2B, confirm K2 momentum signal is above or below both K2 pivots. So with that said, he took a bunch of trades here. So for example, right here, this sell right here, if I go over here, yeah, so with this one right here, basically he identified a K2 momentum signal. There's a buy signal right here. This would fall under 2A. So confirm K2 momentum signal breaks and is breaking and closing past K2 pivots 3 and 4, which would be these two lines right here. With that said, he enters a long position right here. His TP stop loss is set at 25.50. That's a split that he uses because it's a high win rate strategy. So he can use a reverse or a negative risk to reward. And with that said, he lets it run. And then he hits TP right there. So that's the first trade. I think that's one of the trades he took right here midday. So with that said, he had a couple wins right here. I think it was this one right here, this US 30 buy. Let's see, his entry point was 33,301. And yeah, that looks around the right area. So the entry point right here is 33,312, but the price difference for FTMO and TradingView is about 15 pips. So I mean, if you were to do the math off that, 33,312 minus, I guess, 14 or 15, his entry point's just off from like where he entered right here. So that's the entry that he took for this win right here, where he made 246 today. So that's basically, a quick explanation as to how these indicators are used and how you can use them, to create your own strategies. So other than that, let me go back to the Forex pairs over here. I'm going to go back and draw the zones here. So if you guys have any other questions, just put them in the chat and then I can answer any questions for you. I'm just getting questions like throughout Telegram. That's why I'm kind of going off track and I'm showing you guys the strategy real quick. But if you guys have any specific questions, feel free to put them in the chat and then I can take a look for you. Otherwise, I'm going to go down the Forex pairs real quick, and I'm going to go ahead and draw all of my zones here. So this one got kind of messed up. I think it was because I opened it up on my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything off the chart, zoom out from this point, and draw my structure. All right, put that right there. Connect these right here. So basically, if these zones overlap, we just connect them into one big zone. Because, if you guys are familiar with the K2SR strategy, we try to trade zone to zone. So for example, if the zones overlap, there's no point in drawing two separate zones because you're not going to trade in between that area. So that's it for AUD/USD. And if you guys want the parameters for these zones, just let me know and I can give them to you guys. It's just, I can't give them to you guys if you guys don't ask for them. So if you guys ask for them, I'll give them to you. But there's just too many zones here. So if you guys want the zones, just be specific with your question and I can give them to you guys. So that's it for CAD CHF right there. Make sure this upper zone is fine. Solid to me. I'm going to zoom through the rest of these because I'm not really trying to waste too much time on these. I'd rather focus on scalps. So I'm going to go through these real quick. Yeah, everything looks good there. Everything looks good. I'm not going to bother with it. There's no point in us really spending too much time on these right now because of the current market volatility. It's just too low. Because the thing is, we don't want to focus too much on these zones and then tomorrow there's like crazy volatility and then there's brand new zones, right? Because then we would have wasted like hours drawing these zones up, or not really hours, but minutes drawing these zones up, and then we have to redo everything tomorrow, right? So that's why I'm trying to be as efficient as possible with these zones here. And I know a lot of you guys don't even like trading Forex as much anymore anyways, since majority of people here make a ton of profit off US 30. So that's why I want to focus on what you guys want to focus on. Because there's really no point in us focusing on these Forex pairs as much if you guys don't have any questions about them. So if there's a specific Forex pair that you guys want me to cover, just put it in the chat and I can take a look. Otherwise, I'm just going to go through all these pairs here and I'll just draw the zones as I see them. And in this case right here, guys, if there's no lower zone on this time frame, you just go on the higher time frame. So for example, you go to the 8 hour, nothing there, go on the daily, nothing there, go on the weekly, and there we go. We have the zone right here. All right, so that's it for EuroCAD right there. Go to Euro CHF, delete this, extend this down a little bit. And you guys can see if price hasn't really moved much since last week, there's not really going to be much for you guys to like focus on. So if that's the case, I mean, in some instances, there's just not going to be any zones there. Or there's going to be zones, but it just hasn't moved much where you have to make any difference. Like, for example, right here, you can see that these zones are still the same. They just kind of adjusted slightly. So instead of having to go and redraw everything, you just make small adjustments to adjust to the current market structure. So let's see, we got zones up there, zones in the middle, zones below here. So for this one right here, let me go ahead and fix this real quick. So EG, let me go ahead and see if there's a lower zone below there. And EG is one of those pairs that doesn't really move very much. So that's why you're probably going to see this whole area down here is probably going to be its own zone. So nothing down there on the daily. Skip the weekly. All right. Yeah. So as you guys can see right there, that's a weekly support right there. It's currently within the weekly support right there. All right. So other than that, over here real quick. Watson, yeah, I see your question right there for UJ. So I'll get to your question shortly. Let me just get through these real quick. I'm going to go down the list and then I think UJ is like the last one anyways. So yeah, I'm just going to go through these really quick. And once I get to UJ, I'll take some time on that, Watson, so that we can actually analyze that more in depth. So other than that, I think that's it for this right here. Delete this one. Your NZD. And that same place, I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. It's the same place still has their fire alarm going off. Either they don't know how to turn off their fire alarm or they have like an actual fire going on in there. So we're good with that right there. Let me get this. Those are all good to go. So on to the next one right here. These. All right, that's it for your USD right there. Check real quick. Yeah, that's it for your USD. GA over here. Let's pull this down a little bit. There we go. Everything else looks pretty solid. Just gonna try to find that upper zone right there because I have one drawn above here. So basically, when you guys draw these zones, you guys have to find the ceiling and the roof. I mean, what's called the ceiling and the floor, so that you guys can be sure. Or actually, let me just leave that same one there. All right, that looks good. Yeah, Steven said, I feel that almost everyone here is just scalping US 30. yeah, I mean, that's what everyone likes to do. Like that's how everyone makes most of their profit, right? Like quick profit. That's why a lot of people like to trade it. But not necessarily. I mean, there's other people who trade other stuff, Steven. So if you want to learn that strategy, Steven, you just got to put in the work and actually learn the strategy instead of, just waiting for these trades to come out. Because if you're just waiting for trades to come out, you're probably not going to get that many trades. Because I only call trades that I know for sure going to hit, right? I don't call risky trades. That's why our win rate at K2 is so high, because I'm very selective with what I take. So yeah, majority of people here do like to trade US 30. Reason for that's because that's where they make most of their profit. It just makes all the sense for someone to focus on what they're good at. So if you're good with US 30 like I am, then that's what I focus on. If you go to Forex, then you focus on Forex. Like, I don't know if David's in here. David, are you in here? Check. David's not here. But David, he likes to trade like EU and GU. He doesn't trade US 30 as much, but he likes to trade EU and GU because that's what he's good at, right? You just got to figure out what you're good at and master that. You don't have to trade like a million pairs here. And that's why I'm not really taking too much time on these Forex pairs here, because I don't personally trade them as much. The only time I trade them is if I see an entry. But they're not something that I'm necessarily focused on like all the time. Aside from like GJ, I like GJ. GJ is like one of the few Forex pairs that I actually like to trade consistently. Or like all the JPY pairs in general, actually. They all move pretty smooth, and they move opposite of the US dollar, so they're kind of easy to follow. It's kind of similar to like US 30 and gold. So those are some of the most popular pairs amongst you guys. I think it's the UJ pairs, US 30 and gold, because they're easy to follow since they go opposite of the US dollar. So if US economy is going to shit, then you just focus on trading those pairs and you can be doing pretty well. Gallo, did you listen to anything I said, bro? Gallo said, what are you doing right now? I mean, I'm marking up the charts, but I explained the whole thing in the beginning. I'm not sure if you were, you were here from the beginning, so I did see your message like right in the beginning. So, you should be familiar with what I'm doing right now. I'm marking up the zones because we're setting up for the week. That's why this is called the weekly chart analysis. It's not called the live trading room, because we're not doing live trades right now, unless I see something that I really like. Like, for example, I'm in this trade right here. But unless we find something good, we're not, like, today's Sunday, the market's not really moving that much today. That's why we're marking up the charts, like we're marking a market structure so that we could identify trades that are coming up this week. Because the week just started, like market isn't even fully open yet. So this is why we're marking these up. Because we'd hate to have to mark up these zones like in the middle of the week, because then we can miss out on trades that are possibly setting up here. So this is what I'm doing. I'm marking up the market structure. If you want to go back and watch my whole explanation, Gallo, you can rewind this replay. It's kind of counterproductive if I just I took like a whole hour, or not an hour, but almost an hour, like over 40 minutes to explain what I was doing here. So if you want to go back and watch it, Gallo, just rewind the replay from the beginning, and then you can see what I'm doing here. But I don't think, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? I'm just marking a market structure. There's not really much for us to do yet, because the market's not really moving. Like, as you can see right here for GU, like GU is one of the quicker moving pairs. It's one of the major pairs that moves a lot quicker than a lot of other pairs. And as you can see right here, for the past 4 hours, this candle has only moved 10 pips, right? It's not really worth your effort to trade this because the spread's 2.6 or about 3 pips. So spread getting in and out, that's 6 pips right there. You don't have enough movement for you to take any trades. So that's why we're marking a market structure right now, so that once the market actually starts moving, we can take some trades. But that's what I'm doing right now. Not to sound sarcastic, but I just find it funny that you asked that, because I explained it like the past couple for the past 40 minutes or so. So I don't know if you were listening to anything I said, or if you were just weren't paying attention. But yeah, that's what we're doing right now. So other than that, let me see. And once I'm done with this, I'm going to analyze the pairs for the other questions that are going out. The only question we have right now is from Wanson. He's asking for UJ. So I'm just gonna add you to the list real quick, Wanson. What's up, Charles? Going. Charles, did you take any trades today? I didn't see you post anything today. Usually you're like the first one to post trades, bro. Let's see. Did Trell post anything today? No. Surprisingly, Trell, you haven't taken any trades yet. I mean, I see you in the group, you're talking, but usually I see you posting trades like all the time. Like, especially on Sunday. Yeah, no, Trell said, no, not today. Yeah, no, Trell, you're taking it easy, right? Same with me. I'm not really taking anything too crazy right now. I did take that 3-minute entry, but other than that, there's not really much for us to take right now. Like I was mentioning, it's a holiday today. It's Easter for you guys that are not familiar with the holiday. That's why a lot of people just aren't really trading right now. Market's kind of slow, which is normal. It's normal for a holiday weekend for the market not to really move very much. So other than that, go down a little further. NZDCHF. Man, I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background. It's getting on my nerves. It's like this dude's fire alarm has been going off for like the past 20 minutes. Like he either doesn't know how to turn off his fire alarm or there's a real fire going on there, but I don't think it's a real fire because all the alarms will run off. All right, delete that. So we got these zones drawn up right here. Other than that, let's see. Delete this right here. All right, so these zones are good. We just have this lower zone right here. ZDUSD, just delete everything off here. That from last week. All right, we're good with NU. So we're almost down there. Watson, sorry, bro, I'm taking so long. I'm just trying to get through all these pairs real quick before we get to your UJ, because I usually like to do these in order. Let's see. Oh wow, this trade's still running from last week. Or actually, we exited this trade because we don't like holding trades over the weekend. But if you guys still have it active from last week, it's still running. It's currently still pushing. Lloyd's asking, will the US market be open tomorrow? So yeah, the market's going to be open, but it's going to be slow from what I heard, Lloyd. Obviously, I'm still going to try to take some trades. I'm going to go live tomorrow to take live trades, but the market's probably going to be slow overall. I forgot. I don't know. Do you guys know if there's a holiday following? I'm trying to think. If there's a holiday following Good Friday, because Good Friday was last Friday, that's why the market closed early. I'm not sure if there's anything else that's running. But yeah, market volatility is going to be slow tomorrow, but it's going to be open, Lloyd. So if you want to trade tomorrow, I'm going to be trading with you guys. So we'll be trading tomorrow. But other than that, all right, so here I am at UJ Watson. So I'm going to delete everything off the chart. And I'll show you guys how I analyze things from scratch. So basically right here, I'm going to zoom out. Here's a naked chart for UJ. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to identify market structure. By doing that, I'm going to turn on the K²SR indicator right here. And then I'm going to draw my market structure from where these zones are located. All right, so these zones down here are kind of relevant because price is so far from those current zones. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw some simple zones down there. Right here, this is where it gets a little more important. The reason why it's important over here because price is currently in this area. So the reason why we don't really care about these zones down here is because if you measure this, like price is currently up here, from here all the way down here, this is like a 600 pip move, right? This isn't going to move in the next week or so. So that's why these zones down here are not so relevant, but they're good to give you a framework as to, how price was moving, building up to this current day. So let me go find this upper zone for you guys. The reason why the upper zone is important is because you guys want to identify where the rejection points are going to be at. So with that said, I have this all drawn up right here. I'm going to turn off the K² SR indicator. And with that said, we can start to identify market structure. So just looking at current price down here, you can see it like from this area over here. So price started pushing up from this area over here, right? What we can do is we can delete this zone and this zone right here. And then you can see from this point how market structure has evolved, right? So looking at this point over here, I'll just draw a vertical line right here. You can see price broke into the structure, and from this point, it just consolidated, right? It consolidated until price finally broke above this structure right here. With that said, this is current market structure from January 7th up until January 28th. And then from that point, price broke to this structure. And this would be the next market structure right here, right? So if I was to delete this right here, you can see that price was bouncing within this area from January 29th or January 28th up until February 24th. So for a whole month, price was just bouncing within this area, right? And that's how you identify market structure. So for example, here, consolidation, bullish move, back into consolidation right here. And then you can prop this up as well. So for example, right here, you can go ahead and draw a vertical line right there. Here's market structure from this point, bullish move right there. And then the same situation right here. So lastly, you can see the most recent market structures from when price broke this area right here, right? Because price was just consolidating within this area over here. And as you can see, when price finally broke structure right here, if you were able to identify this market structure before this happened, like say, for example, right here, you were following this and you did what I said, right? If you did what I said, you marked up market structure right here, you would have waited for price to either break above here or break below here to enter your trade, right? So with that said, if you turn on the momentum indicator, what do we have right here? We have a bullish momentum. So with that said, we have a rejection right here. We have a buy signal right here. So what you'd be waiting for is for price to break and close past the structure, right? As soon as that happened, let's see if we can find it over here. Okay, so right here. So right here, price broke and closed past the structure, right? Same strategy that I'm always identifying for you guys. With that said right here, you can enter your long position right here. And since you have market structure drawn up at this point, I mean, you can probably shoot for this point here, or you can shoot all the way from this point up here. So looking at this currently, if you were to let this run, you just let it run that way. And you can see it was a break and retest, right? Price broke structure, it shot up, retested right here. And then it shot up even further, right? So perfect, clean example right there of applying our K2SR strategy. And just looking at this here, you can see that the move hasn't completed yet, right? The complete move is going to be up here for about 200 pips. So like looking at current price right here, you know, we have a bullish bias right here, but it looks like it's going into consolidation. So we don't have the zone in this area currently, but what I could see happening, because, you know, obviously I created these indicators, so I know where the zones are going to be plotted. So looking at this here, if I turn off the momentum indicator, this is kind of what I see getting plotted shortly, like probably not today, but maybe by the end of this week. We'll probably see a zone get created right there, and then we'll have a zone created somewhere around here. So price is currently in consolidation right here. What I'd be waiting for is for price to break and close above this area right here. And with that said, I would take a long position right there and then ride that up to this point over here for 60 pips. And this is pretty much what I see happening at this point. So that is, you know, this is basically what I see happening at this point. Like, but I don't see it happening yet because price hasn't broken above this area. What we can do next is we can turn on the momentum indicator. Right here, we currently have a sell bias right here, right? So with the sell bias, we would want price to close below here. And if that ends up closing below here, then we take the sell, right? But if this happens right here, we get a buy signal because this isn't going to be set in stone, right? Until price breaks and closes past the structure, we're not going to take the sell. What we could be looking for here, this is scenario number one. Scenario number one, following the sell signal right here, is going to be for price to break and close past the structure because we have a rejection from this point. We have the sell signal right here. Now we just need price to break and close past the structure to take that sell. that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is we will have a rejection right here as well. So what could happen from this point is we have a rejection from that point, possible buy signal right here. If we get a buy signal, and if we get that buy signal, it'll probably push up. And then if it ends up closing above here, then we can instead take a buy in this direction, right? So, and complete the move that happened over here. So this move started down here and it hasn't completed yet. It's supposed to move up there, right? So this is probably what's going to happen here. I probably see a buy signal coming up, but this is, you know, like I mentioned, there's different scenarios. You guys have to analyze things from both sides, for both a buy and a sell. Don't just be stuck in one, you know, with one bias. Because for example, here, if you're only looking for buys here and you think price is going to continue up, like say, for example, you enter a buy right here, right? And then price ends up breaking below here. If price ends up breaking below here, then you're probably in trouble, because if this happens right here, price is probably going to keep pushing down and test this structure down here. And that's why you got to wait for that confirmation. You want to wait for price to actually confirm whether it's broken. Let me turn this off. Whether it's broken below here or above here before you take that trade. Because if you don't, you know, one or two things can happen. Price can either shoot up here. If you take a sell, you're going to be screwed. If you take a sell, so if you take a buy and price ends up, or for example, you take a sell here and it shoots up, you're screwed because you're going to get stopped out. Vice versa, if you take a buy and price shoots down here, then you're going to be screwed as well, because you know you're going to get stopped out either way. So that's why you want to wait for that confirmation for price to break and close past the structure before you take the trade. Because obviously, just looking at UJ right now, it's just consolidating. There's not much happening right here. It's just going sideways. So what you want to do is wait for it to break above or break below. Overall bias is going to be a buy. Short-term bias is probably going to be a sell. So until then, you know, I wouldn't take the trade. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at this. So Watson, I don't know if you have an analysis already set up for UJ. If you want to send it over to me, I can look at it, and then we can see, compare and contrast what's different between my analysis and yours. But overall, I have a bullish bias, because obviously this bullish move started from down here, right? So as you guys can see, market moves in phases, right? If I just show you here, we have consolidation from right here, a bullish move up, right? It breaks out of the bullish channel right here. It just goes sideways, right? So we have consolidation, bullish move, consolidation, bullish move, right? So as you guys can see, if you guys can draw this market structure, it makes all the difference when identifying where to take trades. Like for example, you don't want to take trades when price is just consolidating, because price can bounce either way. Like price can go up or price can go down. But right here, obviously we have a bullish bias. So if price ends up breaking above, like I mentioned earlier, then you can catch us up for another bullish move right here, right? So that's pretty much it for my UJ analysis. Like I mentioned, market hasn't really moved much today. So we need to have some actual movement in the market for you to have an actual, an actual meaningful analysis. Right now, there's not much that we can analyze because market isn't really moving very much. So just follow up with me tomorrow, Watson, if you're going to be on the live stream, and I can reanalyze it for you. But for now, I'll keep this marked up, and I'll just have this lined up right here so that you can see tomorrow morning. If price ends up breaking above, I'll show you that, this actually works and it shoots up from here. Vice versa, if price ends up breaking below here, I'll show you that it shoots down from here. So that's going to be very key when identifying, where price is going to move, throughout the week. So that's pretty much it for you, Jay. If you guys have any other questions, put them in the chat so I can take a look. Otherwise, we don't really have many questions right now. So I'll be looking for some scalps, but if not, we're probably just going to call this session early, and then we'll pick up when the market actually starts moving tomorrow. So let me go to US 30 real quick. I'll show you guys the snipe strategy that we use here, just for you guys who are brand new. So this strategy works on all assets. It's not just US 30. It works on all time frames and it works on all assets. So this is the K² snipe strategy. So I'm going to show you the demonstration for US 30 on the 10-minute time frame. So first, you just want to confirm a wick rejection off K² pivot, which can be any pivot. 2, confirm a wick rejection off K2 SR zone. And then lastly, you just want to confirm wick rejection off K2 pivot does not touch the candle body. And that's pretty much it. If you have all that set up, then you can take the trade. So looking at this here, I'm going to go ahead and draw my zones. So I'll turn the K2 SR indicator. We have price currently within a zone right now. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that real quick. There. Have this right here. And I'll show you an actual entry so that you guys can see how this is actually applied. And this is pretty much what majority of people here trade in K2 now, because everyone's making so much money off, scalping that this is like everyone's main focus. Even myself included, I make most of my profit from scalping. I still take Forex trades, but I don't take big lot sizes anymore. I just set and forget those trades. And if they hit profit, then that's cool. That's like extra profit. But majority of my profit comes from scalping US 30. And if you guys are in K2, I mean, you guys have seen, right? So these are, like, I don't even have to show you my profits, but I'll show you real quick, like what I do here. So like, these are my profits right here. So these are my profits on my own account where I'm making, about a couple $100 a day, or maybe a couple thousand a day actually, because I have two accounts. I have this bigger account for FTMO where I made about 1,700 that day, and then 800 on the other account. This is what I'm making, but this is not impressive. Like, me showing you my profits is not really that impressive because, I'm obviously, you guys can see here that I know what I'm doing. What's impressive is seeing other people's profits, right? So for example, here, you can see majority of people's profits here are from US 30, right? Like you can see Uncle over here, he takes scalps for sells and for buys. He makes a total of 398. Same with Marcus. He takes scalps over here for buys, makes about 77. So it doesn't matter if you have a big account or a small account, you can still make profit using the same strategy. Sisuk over here made 1,042 off that one trade. And if I just keep scrolling up here, you guys can see the date stamp right here. So this is from today. And if you go back to any day here, here's Marcus on, what was this, on the 2nd. So I think this was Friday. He made about 178 for that day, right? And he has a smaller account. You scroll up even higher. We have Valentino over here. He made about 1,225. We got Mondro over here. He made 1,269. And as you can see, like, you guys will run into losses, right? There's no guaranteed strategy, but as long as you guys do it properly, you should always end up in profit at the end of the week. Here's Cheryl. See, she's not the only one. Like, she doesn't only trade US 30. She trades US 30. She trades S&P 500. She trades NASDAQ 100. So she trades like almost every index, and she makes profit doing the same thing as we're doing here. So as you guys can see, it applies for everything. Even David over here, he trades Euro USD, S&P, the Dow 30. He still makes profit off that as well. And this is the same strategy that everyone applies. I can go to like any random date here. Spencer over here made 1,107. We'll go to March 29th. Ed over here made 7,007. Everyone here makes profit doing the same thing. So if you guys learn this one strategy right here, this could pretty much help you be consistently profitable, as long as you guys don't get greedy and you guys follow the rules. So looking at this here, let me just, here, I'll just replay it to here, because this is one entry that we have available over here. So looking at this right here, I'm just going to show you guys the strategy. Basically, you confirm a wick rejection off the K2 pivot. So right here, for example, this green candle right here, there is a wick rejection off this green and yellow K2 pivot right here, right? So that's going to be requirement number one. Requirement number one is the wick rejection off the K2 pivot. Requirement number two is to confirm the wick rejection off the K2 SR zone. This whole zone right here is a K2 SR zone. So this wick is rejecting off it, qualifying for this confirmation. So with that said, the last requirement is just to confirm the wick rejection off the pivot doesn't touch the candle body. So for example, here, this green pivot and yellow pivot are far from the body, right? So with that said, you enter a long position right here. For US 30, we use a fixed 500 pip stop loss TP. And that's from my research that I've done, researching US 30 for the past 10 years, just back testing and seeing what the sweet spot is. So for US 30, this is our sweet spot. The sweet spot's totally different for every other asset. So don't use the same sweet spot for everything. This is just US 30. So with that said, you enter a long position here, you let it run, and there you go, full TP, right? So that's one entry right there. Let me see if I can find another one here for you guys to look at before we move forward. So looking at this here, here's another one. There's actually a couple entries right here. So you guys can see that there's a ton of opportunities here that you guys can take. Like for example, here, if you saw this one, this would be one entry, but there's also 3 other entries right here. So if you skip, well, not skip, but if you miss these 3 entries right here, you could still cash this one over here, right? And looking at this right here, I'll go over the requirements again. Very simple. Confirm a wick rejection off the K2 pivot. All of these right here, this candle, 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 candles right here reject off this red pivot right here, right? So these would all be entries for this strategy. On top of that, if you confirm the wick rejection off the K2SR zone, this is the K2SR zone right here, right? So with that said, the wick is rejecting off the zone here as well. So that's the first 2 requirements. The last requirement is to just make sure that the pivot isn't touching the body, which it isn't, right? So with that said, if you enter a long position here, TP stop loss is 500 pips. So if you were to take that trade right there, you could have taken that trade if you decided to take the next one after it. So like we can just draw different entries here. There's like 4 entries, right? So one right there, another one right here. And like I mentioned, you don't have to take every single trade, but I'm just going to show you what's the power, like the power of the strategy. If you guys learn it and you know, execute it properly, because I do see some people who stack these positions. I don't really recommend doing it unless you know what you're doing. But if you were to take any of these trades here, so, and then lastly, the most recent one right here, right? There's 4 trades right there. If you were to take any one of these trades and then you let it run, there you go, it's running, and there you go, full TP, right? So if you took this most recent one, full TP, 500 pips. If you took the one before that, full TP, 500 pips. The one before that, full TP, 500 pips. So it doesn't matter which one you decided to take. You know, if you took either one of these trades, you would have had a full TP off that. And that's how everyone here is locking in these massive profits, right? Like Ed over here, dude locked in like 10,000 like last week. It's crazy, right? And a lot of these people haven't had, like, they've never been profitable before because they never found a strategy that was like that simple or that easy to apply. Because as you guys can see, there's a lot of strategies out there you can apply. There's no right or wrong strategy. The only problem with all the other strategies is that they make it too complicated. They have like 100 indicators on the chart. They got too many things to look out for. For us, we just look out for these specific things: wick rejection off the pivot, the K2 pivot, wick rejection off the K2SR zone, and then you take the buy. That's pretty much it. You can probably take off this last requirement because it's like, I mean, obviously it's important, but for the most part, once these are met, you usually don't even have to look at this one. So with that said, that's the strategy that we're applying here. So let me go back and look at what we were looking at over here. Let me just take this off. All right, so looking at this here, there's no, well, I mean, there's one entry that's available right here. If you guys wanted to take it, there was one that's right here. Well, there's 2 actually, or 3, or yeah, 2. So this green candle and this red candle, there's a wick rejection off the pivot and a wick rejection off the structure, right? With that said, you could have taken either of these trades here. You could have taken this right here, and it's technically still active. So with that said, this is moving right there, or you could have taken this red one right here, and that's still technically active right now as well. So both of these entries are still technically active right now. This would probably be the first one, so this is probably the one that's most important right now. And that's pretty much it. So we have this entry that's set up right here. Other than that, I mean, we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, there's other variations to the strategy. There's a 3-minute strategy that Josh uses. I've already explained that earlier. So if you guys want to go back and watch that, or if you guys want to see the actual live session that me and Josh had, you can go on the YouTube channel. Here's a YouTube channel for K2 Trades. Just go to videos right here. And if you scroll down over here, you can see that me and Josh, so right here a week ago, this is the video that you want to look out for. It says Josh 3-minute strategy, K2 Trades live mentoring session. This is where I had a one-on-one session with Josh and we went over his strategy here. So if you want to go watch this video, it's under the videos tab on the K2 YouTube channel. And you guys can learn this 3-minute strategy right here that a lot of people are using as well. But this is going to be the main strategy. So this is the main strategy that a lot of people base their strategies off. But if you want to see the variations, you can learn Josh's 3-minute strategy, or you can learn CT's 15 and 3 strategy over here, which is a little complicated. I don't recommend you guys do this. It's just a small variation to the 10-minute one. But yeah, if you guys want to watch this video here, or if you guys want to learn this, you know, it's really simple. So other than that, let me check the other indices real quick to see if there's any other any other entries that are available for the other indices. So let me just get this set up over here. The other indices that people trade are the Aussie 200, the China 50, the Spain 35, the French 40, Japanese Nikkei 225, the UK 100, NASDAQ 100, the DAX 30, S&P 500, and obviously US 30. So I have these all lined up here. I don't necessarily trade them myself, but I do look at them if you guys have questions. So if you guys have questions for anything specific, like obviously I can trade anything. Like this, like my whole analysis and strategies, they work on everything. So if there's a strategy that you, or there's a pair that you guys want me to look at, I mean, I can look at it. There's no difference. It's the same analysis. It's just applied for different, different assets. Nice. So let's see. Sharul said I'm backtesting Josh's strategy on gold right now, and it's looking good at the moment. 76% win rate so far. Wow, that's amazing. You can make a lot of money off gold too. If you guys don't want to trade US 30, you guys can trade gold like Sharul's doing over here. He uses a different TP stop loss, 70 to 100, which is perfect. If it works for you, Sharul, then keep using it, right? And that's what's great about K2, right? Because K2 here, once we find something, we all share with each other. We don't find a strategy and hide it from everybody, right? Like there's enough profit to go around. So like when people find strategies here in K2, we actually share them with each other and we help each other, profit off that strategy. It's different compared to like other groups. I know you guys have been in other groups before where people don't want to share the strategy, right? They want to keep it to themselves because they think that, there's a scarcity effect. They're like, well, I can't share this because there's only so many people that can win at the strategy. But in reality, especially if you're scalping, there's no scarcity effect there because we're only trading for like a few pips. We're not necessarily holding these intraday trades for a long time. So literally everyone can make profit scalping with us here. It's really not that difficult. And as long as you, you follow directions, use proper risk management, you guys should be fine in the long term. But yeah, nice find there, Sharul. I'll probably take a look at that as well, like that you mentioned here. I'm gonna write down my notes actually. Let me see. Let's see. Sharul, gold, or let's see, Josh, 3-minute gold, TP stop loss, 7,100. Awesome, Cheryl. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, no, definitely. You found something. You're onto something, right? And that's perfect because now that you found something, like I can help you and other people can help you make that strategy even better. So that's what I do a lot here in K2 as well, guys. So if you guys are in K2, if you guys come up with the strategy and you guys want me to help you make it better, like say if you want to increase the win rate, right? There's always a solution to it. The thing is, I've been trading for like 11 years now. So I've come across like everything. So like usually if you guys have a strategy, need some help, fine tuning, that's something that I can help with. So if you guys are a K2 member, if you guys are in the premium, that's something I've been helping a lot of people with. So if you guys need help with anything, just let me know. I can probably figure out what the problem is with your strategy just by, testing like other things that can be added to it. But yeah, other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. So for Aussie 200, same strategy right here. So I'll show you that this strategy works on everything, right? So for example, here, if you want to trade the Aussie 200, because we do have some traders here that are located in Australia, so they like to trade their own index, right? So if you guys wanted to trade the Aussie 200, there would be an entry right here. So same situation, we identify the wick rejection off the K2 pivot right here, this orange pivot. We have a wick rejection off the K2 SR zone over here. And with that said, we enter a long position right here. We let that run. And there you go, full TP, right? So same strategy, different asset. This works on everything. It's not just US 30. It works on, literally anything. I've seen people use this on Forex as well. So that's it for Aussie 200 right there. There's no other entries that are available at this time, but that's the most recent one. Let's go over to the next one over here. The China 50. Let's see if there's one here that I could possibly show you guys. This one looks kind of messy, so I don't see any entries that are available right now specifically. Let's move on to the next one. The Spain 35. So let's see if there's one here. Let me see this real quick. So I think there's one right here. I'm just going to focus on like one area so that you guys can, you guys don't get lost. because there's a lot of stuff going on the chart. So I just want to focus in on one area so that you guys can identify, or you guys can see what I'm trying to show you guys. So looking at this here, same situation. I'll just put the same requirements there. K2 snipe strategy. Let's rewind to this candle right here. So yeah, looking at this green candle right here, same strategy that we just applied for US 30 and for the Aussie 200. This green candle right here, we have a wick rejection off the green K2 pivot right here, wick rejection off the K2 SR zone. With that said, we enter a long position right here. We let that run. There you go, full TP, right? I don't even trade the Spain 35, but for you guys here who are located in Spain, you guys can apply the strategy. It works for everything. Here we are at the French 40. Let me see if I could find something here. If you guys have an asset that you guys want me to take a look at, because I know some of you guys trade stuff that nobody trades, right? Like what's his name? Vinicius. Vinicius always asks me about the Brazilian index. I didn't even know Brazil had their own index. And I look at it for him, and it works out perfectly fine. He makes profit off that as well. And he doesn't even have the K2 indicators. He just watches me trade it or analyze it, and then he does his little spin to it, and then he takes the trade and he makes profit off that as well. So if you guys don't want to sign up for K2, you guys don't have to. You guys can just, if you guys want to learn the strategies and not pay for anything yet, if you guys aren't ready, you guys can go on the website, k2trades.com, and just click the free access course right here to watch the videos and learn what we're doing here. You don't have to pay for anything to watch the videos. The only thing that you're really paying for is for the indicators. So if you guys want the indicators to apply yourself, all these indicators here, that's what you guys will be paying for, but you guys don't necessarily need to pay for anything if you guys just want to learn. So looking at this here at the French 40, same situation. We have a wick rejection off the K2 SR zone right here and the K2 pivot right here, right? So this red candle, it rejects off the yellow pivot here. Well, actually the yellow pivot and the green and yellow pivot, and off the structure right here as well. So with that said, you enter a long position right here. Let's see, long position right here. You let that run, and there you go, full TP, right? Same situation. So the same strategy works for everything. I mean, if there's something that you guys are curious about, like if there's one pair that you guys like to trade and you're like, well, I wonder if it works on there, just put the pair in the chat and I'll take a look and I can show you guys if it works or not. I'm pretty sure it does, because this strategy is momentum based. So as long as there's momentum in the market, you guys can catch trades. There's no, I mean, literally the sky's the limit at this point. If you guys are looking to apply something for a specific pair that you guys haven't figured out yet. So let me see if there's any entries here. Just choppiness right there. Let me see if there's anything over here as I move along. Yeah, for some pairs like this, like the Japan Nisei over here, their index, sometimes you're not going to find entries, which is fine. That's why you don't have to focus on just one. You can just go from pair to pair if you find something else that works. So here's one right here. I'm just going back here. There's no entries here, and this is going to be the most recent one right here. So I'm just going to draw the zone over here, down at this bottom area. I'm going to go and replay this over here. And sometimes these smaller assets are actually better to trade because they're not being manipulated, since not a lot of people trade them, versus something like US 30. But obviously it works for US 30, so people use it for US 30 as well. So looking at this right here, same situation. We have a wick rejection off the K2 pivot off this green candle right here. We have wick rejection off the K2 SR zone. The pivot isn't touching the body, so you enter a long position right here. You let that run, and there you go, full TP off the Nisei. So as you guys can see, it works for everything. It's not just it's not just US 30. Same with UK 100. This is also a favorite here at K2. I mean, it works perfectly fine here as well. There's really no difference between the strategies and how they're applied. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off right here. I'm going to go and rewind it to this one right here. All right, same strategy right there, K2 snipe strategy. We have the wick rejection off the yellow pivot right there. Wick rejection off the K2 SR zone right there. So, with that said, we enter a long position over here. Let that run, full TP, right? So as you guys can see, it works for everything. I mean, if you guys have any specific questions, I can look at it for you. But I mean, this is just repetitive, right? It's the same thing. I mean, it works over and over again. Let's go to US 30 real quick. I'm still in that buy. Okay, so we're almost at that full TP. Like the pair is just messing around right now. So Steven, I'm not sure if you entered this late, but I mean, it's still running. So this is, I mean, it's still going off from here. So it's still currently running right now. I was hoping it hit TP by now, but I mean, it's really close. Let's see how far is it from there. We're only off by like five ticks, 5 points, I'm assuming. Yeah. So it's not really off that much. That's technically 50 pips. So it's only off by like 50 pips. That's like spread. So I think the only thing that's preventing it from hitting TP. Oh, actually it hit TP for me. Oh, I didn't realize it hit TP for me. All right, let me just show you. I'll show you guys my prop here. So I guess because, well, the pricing is different for FTMO, so that's why it hit TP for me. But I'll just show you right here. So this is my FTMO, my MC4. As you can see right here, this is the time that it closed out, or I mean, the time I took the trade at 529. So about like 30 minutes ago, it hit my TP. As you can see right here, it's green. The reason it's green is because it actually hit my profit target, like the profit target that I set. I didn't close it manually, just hit TP. I didn't realize it hit TP, but I mean, I'm not complaining that I made profit off this. So I'm kicking off the week with one win. I made a 430 off that trade. It's not a lot, but I was just testing the market for Sunday, because generally Sunday is a risky day to trade, but I did take that trade, and thankfully it did hit my TP. So we can start off this week on a great note. So we're all hit TPs this week. So looking at looking at everyone's trades today, it's only Sunday. So like looking at the trades today, everyone's hit TP or everyone's in profit, right? Uncle's in profit. Who else is in profit? Marcus is in profit. Who else is in profit? Sisuk's in profit. Mark's in profit. So everyone's starting off the week pretty well. If you guys want to learn the strategy, like I mentioned, it's available to you. But other than that, I think that's about it for now. Yeah, Steven, it's probably a good idea that you didn't enter because it was late, because obviously, you would have been in for a bigger loss. Like, for example, your stop loss would have been 500 pips, but if you entered late, like in profit already, your stop loss would have been like way down here. You would have had to add like another 200, 300 pips. And that's just too risky, right? If you take trades like that, it's just not really worth the risk, because you're going to go in for a huge drawdown if it doesn't go straight into profit. So I'll just wait for this to hit TP, guys, and then there we go. It's about to hit TP. There's your horns, guys. So we just hit full TP off that scalp that I told you guys about when I first started the session. And it's still moving for the next one. So this one just hit right there. The next one right here is currently running still. It's currently running in profit. But like I was mentioning before, guys, it's a risky time to trade. So I don't personally recommend you guys enter it this late. The reason for that also is because the US 30 market, or not the US 30 market, but the pair starts to move a little funky around 10 p.m. So it's 9:12 right now. In about 50 minutes, the market starts to move a little funky. The reason for that is because it's getting close to London Open. So as you can see right here, price is going up, right? But once we enter London session, which is going to be right here, midnight, my time. Yeah, London is going to open right here. Once we get to London session, like price starts to act funky. Like once it gets to this point, price will start coming down. Like probably 2 hours from London Open. So let's see, for example, right here up until right here. All right. So from like right here to right here, this is generally what usually happens from my experience, because I've been trading US 30 every day for like the past year now. So what I usually see happening, once it reaches 10 p.m. my time, it'll go up and then it'll start to come down. Like it'll go opposite of what it was moving. So for example, if it was moving bullish, right here, it starts to go down. And then from here, once we get to London Open, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before, you guys are like, what the heck happened to the market? I'm like, oh, London happened, right? London Open happened. So once it gets to London Open right here, price will do one of two things. It'll either correct back up to where it was originally, or it's just going to continue dropping from this point. So this is why I recommend that you guys just sit out the market until tomorrow. I mean, if you guys want to be risky and take the trade, by all means, take it at your own risk. But I'm going to tell you guys now that it's going to be risky. So, and that's from my experience because I trade this every single day. And if you guys trade something every single day, like all day, every day, you guys will start to see patterns. You'll start to see when price starts to move kind of funky. And even for myself, I don't trade after 10 p.m. So if I'm not trading, that might be a hint to you guys probably to hold off until either London opens or until US session the next day. But yeah, for me personally, I'm done trading for the day, guys. I made my 430 for the day, so I'm not really complaining. Some profit's better than no profit. So this is on my one of my FTMO accounts. I have a second FTMO account where it's like half the profit. So I probably made about 600 total today, which is not bad, right? It's a Sunday night and market is just not even moving at all. So I'm probably done for the night. I'll be looking for some Forex trades, but I don't know if we're going to see anything tonight because obviously you can see Forex market is just not moving. As you can see right here from UJ, like literally no movement, right? So I'll look out for trades, but if I don't see anything, then I'm not going to call anything. I'll give you guys an update in the group around 10 p.m. when the next 4-hour candle closes. But other than that, I think we're done for tonight. I don't have any questions. I'll be back live in about 7 hours anyways for the actual trading session tomorrow. And here, this is what I'll do, guys. I'll leave these markups here so that when you go live tomorrow morning, you guys can see what I mean about price moving weird from like 10 until midnight. And then you'll see that price will set a direction from that point. So there's going to be key times when price starts to move weird from 10 to midnight, which is like pre-London open. And then again, another time to look out for is US open or New York Stock Exchange open, not the US market, but the stock exchange open, which should be right here at 6:30. So these are going to be really important time periods for you guys from like right here up until 7, right? So these times right here are going to be really crucial because this is when price starts to move weird. And the reason I know this is because I trade this every day, like I mentioned. So whether you guys want to take my advice or not, I'll just keep this marked up right here. And then you guys can see how it moves tomorrow morning when I go live. And we'll just see how it plays out. But, from my own experience, you'll see that price tends to move kind of funky around this time. So other than that, guys, thanks for showing up. I'll be back live in about 7 hours. So if you guys are brand new here, I go live every morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific. I was going to say Pacific Standard Time, but we're in daylight savings time right now. So 6:30 a.m. Pacific daylight savings time, I'll be live again tomorrow, and I'll be actually trading tomorrow. Today is just the weekly chart analysis, so I didn't really have much to look at. Market volatility is too slow, but we'll be picking back up tomorrow morning. So other than that, if you guys have any other questions, always feel free to reach out to me on Telegram, or you guys can email me at Shawn@k2trades.com. But other than that, I think we're pretty much done for right now. So I think that's it for now. Gallo, I will message you. I know that you signed up for the signals prior, so I'll refund you for those signals. No worries. I'm not here to squeeze you out of anything. Like you're gonna make that profit back anyways. Like this is what I'm showing you guys, right? Like if you guys learn how to do the strategy, you guys can make your own profit all day, every day. You guys don't need me to call signals. And Steven, I did see your message. It's fine. I'm gonna continue to help you out. But eventually you should start to learn the strategy, Steven, because I want you to actually know what you're doing and not just following my trades blindly. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic with you, like all throughout the day. I'm messing with you because I do this with you every single day. It's like the same questions that you ask, and I'm just like messing with you. So I'm still going to give you trades every day, but I think eventually you should start to learn the strategy because obviously right here, everyone is able to profit, right? If you guys just learn the strategy yourself, you guys can learn. But like Steven said, he's not ready. He's still scared to take his own trades, which is fine. You have to build that trade psychology over time. So other than that, guys, I'm going to log off for the night, and then I will, yeah, no, definitely, Steven. Steven said, can't wait to recover from his odd USD last week. So yeah, I'll definitely help you do that, Steven. I'll try to give you the parameters as much as possible. But yeah, I think that's it. So if you guys have questions, just reach out to me on Telegram, and I will, we got a signal right here. Oh, it's a sell signal. So no entry at that point. But yeah, guys, thanks for showing up, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. So until then, guys, catch you guys back here in about